the last couple of days, I've sort of like I've come to do a video, and sort of like start looking at what's going on with the planet at the moment. I've come in and I've been writing a lot the last couple of days. I feel like I'm reading a lot of books, and I'm writing a lot, and I've been drawn to a lot of things. One thing is like Telos, which is a community like on Facebook that talks about like Mount Shasta, which is where they're saying that these fifth dimensional realities are existing on this earth at the moment. So you've got like Lemuria, and this is where Atlantis and some other sort of like communities are existing on a fifth dimensional reality or a fifth dimensional experience, but they're here on this planet and they're connected to the planet, and they're at presently vibrating with the energy of the planet, and it's shifting and changing, um, changing the energy and the energy frequency of the planet. It's helping with the energy grids, the ley lines on the planet, but it's also helping us to open up to a more spiritual way and a more spiritual way of being. So it's like there's a lot of things going on at the moment. The last few days, I'm definitely feeling like a lot of shifting and shedding for myself, um, and things are again are moving very quickly, like the cycles. So like you've got, I was reading something again this morning. They're talking about the universal laws, which are really really important, and why they're so important is because as spiritual beings, they give us a blueprint of how to live in harmony with the divine force or the divine essence. And this is what we all want to do. We want to shed this third dimensional reality. We want to move to the fourth and the fifth, and we want to start living in a more harmonious way. So one of the things at the moment is like the universal law of rhythm, which talks about cycles. Everything moves through cycles. So on an individual level, this will be sort of like if you were to get like a symbolic sort of like visual of a phoenix, which is birth and rising from the ashes. So it's death and rebirth and these cycles. So on an individual way, that law of rhythm is very much around that. The universe goes in a rhythm and in cycles, but those cycles and rhythms are a reflection of the energy and the consciousness of the planet, and what's happening on the planet. It's not necessarily, the cycles that are coming up are a reflection of our consciousness and what we're creating. Remember, we're part of the universal law of oneness. We've got the universal source. We're creators, and we have that creative essence, that creative spark in us. And it's about, so what are you creating? How are you creating in source? What are you creating within your reality, within your energy? And again, the universal law of vibration, which is again, I've been talking about this, and I feel this more and more strongly as I start to connect into it. Um, Very much, I've always tried to create with thought, and use my energies and my thought to do that. However, what I feel I'm being guided to is create, live an embodiment. You embody your vibration. Don't think about it. Feel what it's like to be that vibration, and this creates and manifests so much quicker. So it's like sit in your own energy and vibrate as a thing, sort of really feel like that is you already. Like, if you are wanting to go into a business on your own and you want to create stuff and you want to attract all that energy, then feel what it's like to vibrate as that reality, as that sort of as that reality. So vibrate as sat somewhere, or as, so it's like, so it's not like you're even thinking about it. You're actually just sitting in the energy and you're vibrating as it is. It's a very different kind of feeling, and I feel this is a different kind of shift in creation. This is a different kind of shift in vibration. So what I mean by this is, if you want to go, say if you want to go out and you want to create your own business, you want to create your own sort of a shop or something like that. I don't know. I say crystals because that's something I'm interested in. But just imagine or just feel like what it's like to vibrate as that. Create a scene, vision something, and vibrate as it. So you're vibrating. So in that sense, you're sitting in that reality and you're vibrating. So then it's the universe is creating with you. In that moment, in that instant moment, it's manifested, and it's also drawing everything to you. So again, this is the universal law of attraction. So all these laws and all these things are frequencies that work in perfect harmony, and they all go back to the main principle one, which is the infinite one to me, which is the universal law of oneness, which is that all things are one, all things are born of the source, all things are nothing separate, everything's interconnected, everything's interrelated. So nothing is separate. All worlds, all realities are all part of the same source. So in that sense, that also shows us that our actions and what we create here, again, creates this kind of has this kind of ripple effect that goes out. Inspired action, again, going in, sitting in that energy, again vibrating in it, being connected to that source, then creating from that source. And this is how we create the reality again. All of these kind of things that are going on, again, the universal law of compensation and correspondence. So correspondence, universal law of correspondence, is again relates to the inner world. The inner world is a reflection of your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So again, inspired action, going inside, sitting there in this kind of energy, and then sort of like connecting to the source and being guided by your intuition, but also going inside yourself and creating harmony within yourself, creates harmony in the outside. So this is the correspondence. Compensation, again, is the universal law of you reap what you sow. So again, it's about action, and again, it's about cause and effect. What you send out to the universe is what gets created, and the universe works in that. So the universe is only working in those kind of energies that are around. The only universal law I always struggle with is the universal law of gender. I really struggle with that one, and this come up the question for me today. And I was reading something of a spiritual person that's talking about these Lemurian realities, and they were talking about like a judge or some sort of. And again, this kind of labels I really struggle with, because in my universal belief and my universal sort of understanding of realities and the spirit world is that it's all one and it's not separate. So by identifying and labeling things, you separate them, you dilute them. That's in my own belief. And there's not such a thing as like he, she, that it's just one. So that there's no separation. So it's not like even that that's a he energy or that's a she energy. Now there are two aspects. Obviously, you've got like the divine mother, and they say like the divine father, and one's creative, one's sort of nurturing, one's there's all these aspects, like the feminine moon and the feminine energy, but I've always struggled with this, because when I go back to my essence and my light, I just feel like we're a vibration, we're a universal vibration. We're not female, we're not, and this is where I struggle with this kind of. So that's the only universal law that I really struggle with. The rest of them make complete sense to me, but the universal law of gender is the one that I struggle with. If you listen to this video and you watch it and you could give me more insight on it, please feel free, comment. I've got a Facebook page as well, Spiritual Awareness and Insight as well. Come over to that, give me a message, just comment on it, because I'm always open to listen to, because I know I feel in myself, if you dismiss something, you limit yourself, and when we're in spiritual sort of like reality and we're really truly open to ourselves, there's no limits. So it's trying to sort of understand. So like the universal laws are really important, and the more I sort of am going along my journey, the more I feel that now. And again, this connects again to like the ascended masters, and obviously the angels and all these other spiritual beings, because they know these universal laws are a way back home. They're a way back to that harmony and being back in with the divine essence, the divine flow. And again, it creates the Almora, which is this universal mind, this divine intelligence, this divine flow. And again, there's so many things, like the universal law of like inspired action, where you go inside, and the universal law of oneness, which is about connecting to the source. It connects again to sort of like Lord Lanto, which is like this illumination of the soul, illumination of the heart, where you're connecting to your center again. And again, sort of the universal law of transmutation, of perpetual transmutation, that connects directly to the violet flame, in this sense, of this Saint Germain, and this transformation, this transmutation. Saint Germain comes down with this violet flame, and when you connect to it, it dissolves everything, and it brings forth this energy, but it also allows you to open up again, integrate, shed, let go, and dissolve. And this is what's going on at the moment. This is what I feel is going on very much for myself. Like a couple of days, I'm sitting there going, usually I'll be like video, 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 video. But the last couple of days, it's like, no, I'm not going to make a video. But I've been writing a lot of stuff about the soul, about the higher self, about sort of source, and like seeing this as like a holy trinity, or like a yeah, holy trinity. So like you've got like spirit, which spirit stroke higher self, which is like the channel to source, which is like the creation, like the creative essence, the spark in you, and the soul is like the vessel that allows you to experience this reality, but also remain connected to your higher self and the source. It's the vessel, it's the channel that allows you to be in this dense reality, but also remain connected to the higher self, the spirit, and the source, and the universal the universal source. And so the soul works in that way. To me, the soul is like this collector of experience, of experience, through lifetime after lifetime, and it's this vessel, and it's used in many different realities, whether it's higher or lower of density, and the soul vibrates depending on the vibration or the frequency that's needed for that reality. So the soul would go up and down in those frequencies depending on what's needed. So it becomes like, so like Lord Lanto talks about the illumination. Well, that's like the soul. If it illuminates, and it becomes more aligned, and it becomes aligned with that source, it becomes higher and higher and higher. It becomes brighter. It becomes more illuminated, and that illumination works and acts like a beacon, where it comes through and it activates to other souls, and it awakens other souls. And this is the whole purpose: is that we're one part a massive brotherhood, like the White Brotherhood. They talk about the White Brotherhood as these ascended masters of universal beings and teachers that come down and impart information. So the ascended masters are part of this, the angels are part of this. Many of these angels and ascended masters are part of the White Brotherhood. They talk about galactic guides as well. Arcturians, I think is the word they use for it, and the Palladians. And so I mean, that's not something that I particularly have ever really had a lot to do with, like the sort of like where they talk about Arcturians and Palladians. It's not something I've ever really connected with. I connect when I work with spirit or source. I see it as illuminated. I see it as light. So I would see on a wall, say at work, I would see a massive bright orange light, but I would see it as light and energy. I wouldn't see it as a physical form. I've never seen it as a physical form. I get impressions of beings in my mind's eye afterwards, of like faces and hair and stuff like that. But most of the time I see it as illumination. I see it as light and energy, just as an energy. So it's not even like an orb. Like an orb is just like a circular thing, but this is like a big bright light. It's like a, when something appeared as a light, it's that kind of energy. I see it, and I see these as many different lights. As I sit there and talk to, I've got a really bright orange, got a blue and a pink in my mind's eye. I know the orange is about compassion. It's about balance. It's about yeah. Again, orange is very much around like an emotional, mental balance colour, but it also brings great compassion as well. These oranges are always such a nice, bright colour. It brings that kind of balance for the energy of the world, but like also compassion. And compassion is always also a great teacher, because it gives us two sides. And this was another thing that was coming through yesterday and the day before. I was talking to my wife about something, and my experience is not your experience, and we need to remember this sometimes, because what we tend to do is we try to look at things from our own experience, which is the only perspective we really have. But actually, sometimes that limits us, because we're very much just in an I consciousness, which is singular again. The blue is very much around peace. It's about balance. It's about knowledge. It's about wisdom, healing, communication. But the blue that I'm seeing is a mixture of blue and white. So it's bringing balance, healing, peace, knowledge, wisdom, communication, but it's also bringing those higher awareness, higher vibrations. A lot of the colours that we're seeing at the moment on the planet are not one colour. They're a mixture of two or three. I see them sort of very light, bright, turquoisey colours. They're not normal. They're not just one colour. You know, they're very luminous, and they're a mixture of two or three colours. This is what I feel like I'm being told. as I'm connecting into this now. Pink's very much around light, but that's again a universal harmony, peace, love. But it's about that expression as well, about trying to express ourselves in a way that unifies and connects us in the way that's brings the most harmony. But like intention's a big thing as a spiritual being, and it very much links into again the universal laws. You know, inspired action. You know, inside intuition, what you send out. You know, correspondence again is this kind of, you know, your inner and outer world. So what you're creating inside your own world is what's on the outside world. So again, it's about intentions, about vibration, and again, compensation, which is this kind of sen, this law where you know you reap what you sow, and you got the karma, and then you got perpetual transmutation. Again, it's all about this intention, but it's also about the vibrate. This is where this universal law of vibration is so important. It comes into everything, because the universal law of vibration is what creates. It vibrates with the universe, and vibration is what activates energy to create reality. So it's really important that we vibrate on these levels, and this is why this again the universal law of polarity, which I've forgotten, has just been brought into me now. Is very much around again. That's a good teacher because it talks about the positive and the negative, and again that links into vibration. If you want to create negative experience and you want to create lower frequencies and densities, then that will be your reality. But that's the parallel. And again, universal laws are not there to say something is good or bad. And we need to move away from this as spiritual beings, that stop labeling things as like good, bad, you know, he, she, them, that. All of this kind again dilutes and it separates, because everything is one. And when you realise this with the universal law, like with vibration and oneness, you realise that, and like perpetual transmutation, you realise, and the universal laws of rhythm, that things and cycles can change instantly. You have the ability to change something instantly. Change your vibration, and you'll change your reality. And once you start to realise that, then things that you were attached to, things of the old that seem to make sense to you, will not sort of vibrate, will not remain. They will dissolve and they will disappear and they will shed, and you'll be able to bring this new dawn in this new reality, which is what this whole time is about. And this is why I feel these universal laws are being brought forward to me at this time, and I need to talk about them. Is because we need to create this new reality. And when you start talking about fifth dimensional reality, and you talk about like some of these Lemurian and Atlantis realities, they were talking about fifth dimension realities, and this is what they do. They were living in harmony, and they were bringing forth these new visions, and this is what all of our souls are to do now. Well, each of us needs to be a lighthouse, a beacon, a vessel of light that's shining this new vision of a new earth and a new dawning. And I feel this is very much it. And as I sit there and I connect into this, the sun, I'm seeing this beautiful sunset in my head, and I know that that's saying this is the new rise and this is new energy. And it's very much around that. But it also is telling you as a creative being, as a creator, and having this creative essence in you, you can create this. Open your heart, open your essence. It's not even open your heart, it's open your essence. That's what they want to say to me. Open your essence to this vision, to your vision, and just allow it to flow. Because the universal law, or the universal source, will create with you. Just open yourself up to that universal source, and it will co-create with you this new vision, this new energy, this new reality which is needed. The reality we've been in for thousands of years, and it's not working. It's hurting the planet, it's hurting ourselves. It's not in harmony. It's not been in harmony for a long time. We've been disconnected for thousands of years, and this is what this time's about. And this is what a lot of I'm even seeing like water rise and seas rise and stuff like that, and all of it I feel is, again, this is connected to the imbalance of our consciousness and our energy and how we're using it. The planet only responds to the consciousness and the vibration that we're creating, and each of us has that ability to do that. And as I sit there and talk about this, I'm now seeing infinite beings behind me, or I'm feeling like I'm being given an impression of lots of beings stood around me or behind me, and I feel that again this is like the veil of reality dissolving in this moment as I'm talking about this, because I'm talking about stuff that they're already consciously aligning with us to help us. And this is what these spiritual beings, this is what these sending masters are doing. They're stood back, they're observing, but they're also sending energy and light to us and information and guidance. But they can't activate it. We have to activate it. We have to awaken to it. We have to start to bring it forward. They can inspire, they can guide, they can bring information and knowledge and wisdom, but you need to create. You're a co-creative being, and you need to create it within your own reality, within your own life. And I feel this is what it's been given. This that they're with us and stood back from us, but we need to activate it. We need to start making it happen. And this is what the message is for today.